This overview of the 4 roles present in League should give you a better understanding of what your job is in a game and what the other roles are looking to do, so you're able to predict their actions better. It should also be easier for you to build functional team compositions and evaluate a champion's viability for a certain role. The 4 roles are the nuke, the initiator, the support and the carry. There are also classes that describe a champion's ability style. Those classes are Mage, Assassin, Marksman, Tank and Bruiser. Now let's take a closer look at all the roles and their tasks in a team composition. The name says it all. Their job is to blow up anything they see except their own team. Naturally, there are targets with a higher priority for them, mainly the opponent's marksman or nuke. Fortunately, those 2 roles have lower defense and therefore are easier to kill as long as the nuke stays even in damage output compared to their target's defense. To do that, nukes need to farm up items evenly. If the nuke gets ahead in offense, they can kind of break the game by being able to blow up anything they want without meaningful resistance. Gaining a lot of experience to reach a high level fast also helps with this. For a nuke to function, they need to have very high damage spikes in very short time frames. The better a champion can fulfill this task, the better nuke they will be. If that champion is able to use those high damage spikes very often, it increases their power dramatically. The nuke champion classes usually are Mage and Assassin. An initiator's job is to force fights with the opponent's team. Ideally, they can make fights happen at will and do so the exact moment their team is in the perfect spot to win the fight. Since they force the opponent's team to fight, they are likely somewhere near that team, which means they can be attacked by their opponents, which requires them to somehow survive those attacks. Having a lot of health or abilities that make it impossible for you to be attacked or keep your opponents from attacking at all are important tools in the kits of initiators. That's why initiators usually work even without a big amount of items. Their kit is often powerful enough already to force fights and be threatening. Maxing out their defensive capabilities is usually a bigger goal than increasing their offensive strength. But that, of course, doesn't mean that initiators don't like to have some damage increasing items paired with their defense. The initiator champion classes are Bruiser and Tank. On the carry's back, the team shall ride to victory. The carry's job is to decide fights for a team by dealing constant high damage to every opponent, eventually taking them all down. League has one rule for this role that likely won't ever be broken. Carries are ranged champions only. Their way of dealing damage is by hitting your opponents from afar with auto attacks. During a teamfight, a carry doesn't want to target anyone specifically, rather just attack whoever is closest. If there are multiple close targets, the carry wants to take out the bigger threat first or wipe out the squishier one. Carries need a lot of items to work, that's why they need to farm almost all game long. In contrast to the initiator, carries can become useless if they are too far behind in items, but just like the nuke, they can take over games on their own if they get many items quickly. That enables them to sometimes take out even their menace, the nuke. Carry champion classes are Marksman and Marksman only. Vision is a huge deal, not having it can cost teams the game easily, so supports provide that vision for their team and deny it from their opponents. Their second task is to enable the carry to attack. There are 3 ways to do this. The most straightforward way is to make the carry more durable. The second way is to keep opponents from touching the carry, done by crowd control, and the third way is to increase the carry's power with abilities such as more attack or movement speed to push them over the point that makes them able to fight everyone without a problem. During a teamfight, the support has the widest choice of action. Sometimes it's correct to be behind their carry, sometimes it's correct to be in front of their carry, and sometimes they might even want to be straight in their opponent's faces. Wherever they are, they should always help their team to execute their roles. There is but one thing supports need in items: wards. Other items supports want are usually cheap and help them execute their job. Any champion class can be a support, as long as they have a good and effective answer to this question: how can I help my team to execute their roles if they are pressured by the opponents? I'm sure most of you realized that the jungler is missing in the core roles, and the reason for that is simple. The jungler isn't a role. The jungler is a tactical choice to play the game. I'll try to convince you with an explanation and some questions. What would the jungler's job be in a teamfight? What are his goals during it? How would this apply to all the different junglers out there, from Ivern to Shaco? If you look at the champion pool of junglers, you will find champions that can easily be added to the nuke initiator support or even carry role. By using those roles, it's possible to accurately describe their playstyle during a teamfight, which isn't possible by using the term jungler, which only describes the strategic choice of having smite and playing in the jungle from minute 1. It's important to understand that junglers are a thing and help teams to build advantages, with ganks farm extra gold in the jungle and control the map through the early and mid game, but it's even more critical to understand in what of the 4 roles they fit into, so that it's possible to understand what these jungling champions are trying to accomplish on their teams. Of course, there are champions present in League with kits that can sometimes fill some parts of the jobs from other roles. So there can be a carry with the ability to nuke, or an initiator with the ability to support, or a nuke with the ability to initiate. That doesn't necessarily mean that those champions can fill these roles though. How a champion kit has to be designed to fill a role you should try out for yourself by playing any champion as any role. This will help you develop an understanding for the way champion kits need to work so they fit a certain role. That's it for the first basic lesson on champion roles. Have fun, enjoy the game, and I'll play you on the Rift.